If you had to put together a soundtrack for your life, what are the songs that you would put on that soundtrack? So if you had to throw together a Spotify playlist with all of the songs that would play in the background of your life, what songs would you pick? I think many of us would pick songs that would reflect our feelings and our experiences that we've had through our lives. I bet many of the songs that are even coming to mind for you right now are songs where the artist is singing or saying things that are a reflection of the way that you felt at some point in your life or the things that you've done. I love this question because I love music, and I love the capacity that music has to connect with us, to move us, to meet us where we're at in the circumstances of our lives and give a voice to what we're feeling and what we're going through. Now, there is no Spotify playlist that we can put together that actually perfectly gives voice to our unique and personal experience, because there's no musical artist or band that knows our experience personally. But what I want to introduce to you as we introduce this new series is that God actually has given us a playlist or a songbook that actually does give voice to the entirety of the human experience and speaks to what is going on at the very deepest parts of every human soul. And that songbook, that playlist, is the book of Psalms that God has given us in the Bible. And the book of Psalms is this long list of poems and songs that do give voice to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in our life. And as we start to go through a series of looking at the Psalms and looking at all different types of Psalms in the songbook, I hope that you'll see as you begin to learn these songs, as you, just in the same way that you wouldn't just listen to a song once and be done with it, but the way that you would read the songs over and over and over again and get them stuck in your head and meditate on them and think about them. I hope that as you learn more about the Psalms and what God has given us in the Psalms, that you'll begin to see yourself in this songbook, in this playlist of songs that God has given us. And more importantly, I hope and pray that you'll begin to see something of the heart of God and the character of God in these songs. You see, in all of the experiences that you go through as middle schoolers and high schoolers, you know what it is to say when you're dealing with a broken heart, to have somebody who identifies with you, who knows what you're going through, who knows what it feels like. That's why we run to Taylor Swift songs when we're at a low point in our life, when we're dealing with a broken heart. And there's a time and a place for that. But what I really hope that all of you will come to see is that when we run to the Psalms, there's something incredibly different about what we have in these songs from God, because the Psalms are actually songs not from a broken and flawed person just like us, but they're actually songs that come from a perfect God, a holy God, a sovereign God, songs that He has written from Him to us to sing back to Him. And the God who's written these songs for us to sing through these human authors is a God who's not just slightly acquainted with what we're going through, but He's the God who is the author of the very story of your life, and a God who is intimately involved in the deepest details of what you're going through, and a God who, in Jesus, knows the entire span and spectrum of what it is to live the human experience. And so what a wonderful thing to know that that is the God who has given us these songs that we can learn for ourselves and sing back to Him. And He knows us better than we know ourselves. See, there's no playlist that can tell us more about the human experience than the one that God has written for us in the Psalms. So as we study these together, my hope and my prayer is that you will begin to see yourself in these songs, that you will, when you go through the highs and the lows of life, that you will run to these Psalms, that they will be stuck in your head, that they will be impressed on your heart in such a way that they transform the way that you think. And they, just in the same way that Jesus had these Psalms written on His heart, that is the goal for us, that they would become written and impressed and ingrained in our hearts and in our minds and stuck in our head, so that we can see things clearly and we can look to the God who knows us better than we know ourselves.